Welcome back to the Frozen Forum podcast. This is episode 22 coming at you from Waterloo and from Lyon. How's it going, Nathan?
Man, me and Nick, to those of you that know our friend Nick, we've been traveling around Italy for the last 6 days, and we just got back to France this morning at 7 a.m. And we had class today, so we are very tired, but that does not matter because we have 3 big games to talk about from this past week. Baby, these halves get me excited, man.
Getting us both excited. I mean, this team is legit, okay? And like I keep going into each one of these games going, I don't know if we can win this game. Like, you know, we go to Dallas, Dallas actually came to Montreal, right? And you kind of look at the game and you go, Dallas is on a 7-game winning streak or 6-game winning streak. Like, we're probably gonna get blown out of the water, right? And even though we've seen them beat these great teams in the NHL, you just go, wow, like it's going to be too much. It's finally going to catch up to us. And it just doesn't. Like we just keep going. Like, we don't beat Dallas. We lose in a shootout, which is the most irrelevant thing in the world, right? Because like it's a shootout. It's not hockey. But like we're fine there. We beat the Washington Capitals, another like the first place team in the Eastern Conference. Like, right? And like on the back-to-back, that's where we lose in a shootout to Dallas. Or was it overtime? It says overtime. I swear it was in shootout.
For
I swear
Washington?
I watched a shootout. No, in Dallas.
Yeah. We lost in shootout to Dallas.
Yeah, the NHL schedule says OTL. Not. I guess they don't have an SOTL. Yeah. No, it was in shootout, and so like it was on a back-to-back. Which, by the way, this season we've won a back-to-back. We have not won a back-to-back before this season since like 2022. Like, it's been a while. It's been a while. More than that, we're 7-2-1 in our last 10. We're keeping that thing up. The only team ahead of us in the Eastern Conference that has a better last 10, the Columbus Blue Jackets, who's a fantastic story, by the way. That team is a great story. I think they deserve to be in the playoff picture this year. But like, is that crazy?
It's nuts. I mean, and in Utah, we are down in the second period and then get 2 quick ones and then maintain the lead the rest of the game.
We had 3 shots in the first period.
I
got a trivia question for you, okay? And I don't know the answer to it. When do you think is the last time?
Are not saving this for the Frozen Forum flash?
No. This is not one of my 10 questions. This is truthfully a conversation, right? When do you think the last time is that a goalie for the first 18 minutes of the game had a 0% save percentage?
I feel like it's more recent than you think, but yeah, I know, 1 shot during that 18
minutes. That's a long ass time. Like, that's 18 minutes. We got 1 shot, 1 goal. Take it, right? But 0% save percentage. Finishes the period, this goalie, with whoever we were against. Was it Vamelka, I think, who was playing?
I think it was.
They finished with
3 shots.
Well,
4 shots.
He finished with 3 shots, 66% save percentage, like a 667 save percentage, in the first period. And then the Habs do the Habs thing. They allowed 14 shots against in the first period. They allowed a combined 11 shots in the second and third.
We dialed it in. Like, I don't know. Like,
I
love this team, bro.
Man, it's so exciting. I'm so excited for this team. And you know what? Kent Hughes in that press conference, you were right. I did play it back. Did say Demidov is not coming no matter what happens this year. Although I looked into it. I think they could still get him over if we got to the Stanley Cup Finals. But it's fine. I guess when, not if. But I was looking at that press conference and he was asked about the trade deadline. So obviously trade deadline coming up in March. And they said, okay, what are you going to do? Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? What do you, and you know what he said? He said, this team is going to dictate what I do. You know, we've seen, like, look, right now when he did the press conference, you know, we were 1 point above 500. And it's like, we're 1 point above 500. If this team keeps showing that they're legit, look, I'm open to doing things to help the team. Right? We're not going to sacrifice anything in the future. You know, we're not trading Demidov or anything like that. That'd be stupid. But let's see what happens. I think this team is going into these games going, we need to prove that we deserve a little bit more help and let's go and win a cup. Like you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the mindset right now, which is fantastic.
Yeah, man, I have no complaints. And looking at Demidov the past week in the KHL too, I mean, it's just so much anticipation. Just imagine a Lane Hutson, Demidov. Oh my, disgusting, disgusting.
It's so good, bro. And I mean, look, there's a report that came out this week that the NHL is looking to move the salary cap up from the current 91 million to like 97 million next year, which would be a huge, huge, huge jump. That gap, I mean, we already have a ton of cap space. That jump probably allows us to sign Patrick Laine to some kind of extension, which I mean, I'm looking at how he fits in this team. Scores his first even strength goal yesterday.
I know, and it
with
was
the team.
beautiful. That was what every coach anywhere would love to see time and time again. Tic tac toe pictures like tic tac toe, tic tac toe. It was like 6 different passes. Beautiful. Also, actually, I'll save it for my 3 stars of the week. Like I don't know.
Let's go. Let's get into it, eh? Let's get into it. Who are your 3 stars? I want to hear.
Number one, I don't think it can be disputed. Lane Hutson, he is on a freaking tear, man. This guy, just give him the Calder already. Come on. Lane Hutson, 1 star. Lane train. That's it. Number 2, Nick Suzuki. I still like he's been doing so well. He got 2 back-to-back OT winners for us. He has multiple points in all of our games. No complaints with him. Last star, the new guy, the trade guy, Alex Carrier. He got a pair last night in Utah for us. And he looked phenomenal. And like that line goal was really him. Him and New, like it was a true team effort. But he led that.
I totally agree. You know what? I was just thinking, at the beginning of the season, we had this problem sometimes where it was really hard to find 3 stars. You know, it was like 2 guys were like carrying the team and whatever. I went a complete different direction for 2 and 3. I totally agree. Lane is number 1. You're not going to believe I'm going to say this. Number 2 is Mike Matheson.
Okay, you got to give some reasoning after saying that.
I just said that, right? Like, and you heard what I've said about Mike Matheson this season. I still think he'd be a great person to trade off the team, but him and Lane Hutson being on a pair together have a 56% expected goals for share. That means on ice when things are like that's 5-on-5. That's not on the power play. That's not anywhere else. It's 5-on-5% of all expected goals are for the Habs when they're on the ice. They've been incredible. Mike Matheson takes a bad penalty in last night's game to put us down to put us on a 5-on-3. Utah scores on that 5-on-3. Mike Matheson gets out of the box and he goes and scores the goal. He has actually been. I had a I had an argument with this guy on Twitter a week ago about maybe wanting to trade Mike Matheson. And in the last week, since I've had this argument, this guy has not made a mistake that I had been seeing all of these I had seen all of these mistakes he was making at the beginning of the season. He hasn't made one. I love his play. Number 3, I'm going Kirby Dach. I'll say, you want to say a lot of good things about that second line. Dach scores 2 last night, including a beautiful goal that was set up by Lane Hutson, deking around the goaltender. And obviously, I think was it the game winner or was the 5-3 goal? I don't remember. But he scores. He's been the driving force behind that second line. The reason that second line is getting a boost, and Patrick Laine scored that goal, and whatever else, if you look at the stuff Kirby Dach is doing, I love it. But between the 2 of us, we've got 5 players we're talking about this week.
Yeah, I know. And there could easily be more. I mean, Cole Caulfield has been scoring too. I mean,
it's amazing when Cole Caulfield scoring like 2 goals in the 3 games is not one of the stars. Isn't that crazy?
Nuts. Because in the last 3 games we have 10 goals, which I feel like has rarely happened for us.
Well, I mean,
what was the amount of goals we needed at the beginning of the season to make the playoffs?
I'm so glad you bring this up, Nathan. I actually did a little bit of an analysis the other day, because I was looking at what we'd been doing. So this is not updated for last night's game. It is okay. I was trying to look at how our projections looked. Right, we said at the beginning of the season that we needed around 275 goals in total. Right, 5 comes out at the midway point of the season to 135, whatever, As of yesterday, we had 124. So it's 129 now. It's a little bit lower than what we said we needed, right? However, when you look at the actual pace of the players on our team, because Patrick Laine was not in the lineup at the beginning of the season, right? And a few other players were not playing all of these games. We are on pace to score, like just raw numbers, like a 300 goal pace across the team, based on like games played and stuff, right? 300 is a lot. Now, so if we score 150 in the second half of the season, which we've now entered the second half of the season, that'd be crazy. I wanted to bring this up with you, though, because I did this whole analysis. I was wondering who underperformed our low bar and if there was actually anybody outperforming our high bar. Okay? As of yesterday morning, 2 players on the team were under the low bar. Can you guess who those 2 players are?
Brennan Gallagher and Josh Anderson.
Well, Brendan Gallagher is the guy who's been scoring a lot, right? He's not under our low bar. Right? He's got 10 goals. He's got 10 goals on the season. First player, Juraj Slavkovsky. He's got 4 so far in the season. We put him down as a low bar of scoring 20.
Okay.
What that means is he's going to have a great second half of the season, right? Because these bars were definitely correct at the beginning. But again, 4 goals. It's not been great. He's been dealing with a lot of stuff. The thing I want to watch out for, the thing that people don't understand about this team, if this second line truly starts rolling, they're going to start playing them like a first line. And then our first line is going to be paired up against not the Sidney Crosbys of the league, but whoever's the second line player. And I think you're going to see a lot more offense from them too. Also, Uri's just going to figure his stuff out. He's 20. Like, come on. He'd have all of his stuff figured out by now. The other player is David Savard, which I find really funny because we said he was supposed to score anything between 4 goals and 10 goals on the season. I mean, he finished last year with 6. He only has 1. So it's a really, really small change from an actual numbers perspective. But that's the only 2 people. The 2 people above.
Let me guess. For goals, right? Okay, well then it must be Brennan Gallagher if I'm...
Right, Brendan Gallagher is 1.
And then the other would probably be... We set a really high bar for Cole, right? So probably Nick Suzuki.
No, Nick is right in that range. He's actually on the lower end of the range. We said he was going to score 33, but like the range, we put a pretty big range. It was like 20 to 46. So he's on pace for 25 right now.
Huh? Thought he had more. Other player... Is it Cole Caulfield?
No, Cole is right. He is on the upper end. He is one of a few players on the upper end of the range, but no, he's in that range.
Who?
I'll give you a hint. He's scored a few shorties this year.
He has scored a few shorties.
Jake Evans. Jake Evans for 10 goals so far this season. We put his season total at 12.
Wow, okay. Maybe he's going to get that extension.
I mean, they say they're talking to him, and like all I can't help but think that it's just the wrong move for the team. Like, I love him. I love him. But this season, as much as we both think that like they can actually do some kind of damage in the playoffs, I mean, look, if we're against the Leafs, easy series, right? We're easily winning at least a round, right? The thing for me is I don't want to sacrifice any of the long-term future of this team for this season, because in reality, this season is not the season we're supposed to be winning, right? And so I look at it as if you can get a first-round pick or a really good prospect for Jake Evans, and you can just add to that storage box of things that you can use in the future to make us not just a bubble playoff team next year, but like a legitimate Stanley Cup competitor for the next 10 years, right? That's only possible when you have this warehouse of goods in the back, right? That are all waiting to come up. And right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs' biggest problem is they're at the end of that range, right? They've got like the 29th ranked prospect pool in the NHL.
Wow.
Right?
And Easton Towns didn't look too great at the World Juniors either.
Well, exactly. That's why they're 29th, right? They don't have the goods. And so they're right at the end. They've had all of these years where they're supposed to be the best teams in the league. And from a regular season perspective, they have been. But now they've run out. To me, I don't want that cupboard to run out that fast. So the more that you can restock it in this season, the better you are in the future.
That's a very good point. I'm just wondering, the thing is with the Habs fans, most of them, They see this win streak and they want to keep going now.
Look, I think on paper, this team is very good to begin with. You've just had a lot of players who have significantly underperformed what they were supposed to do, right? Christian Dvorak, when he was traded for, he was supposed to be a second line center. He was supposed to replace Philip Danault, right? He never did that. When Josh Anderson was traded for and signed to a 7-year contract, like, I mean, the thing for me here is Josh Anderson has 7 on the season right now. He's on pace for 14. I don't mind that total. I mean, the salary we're paying him, you would want more. You would want a 20-goal scorer, but he's been really good defensively, and he's been playing a lot of things better. A lot of these players who were supposed to be really good have slowly morphed into those players that they were supposed to be when we first got them, is all I'm trying to say, right? So I think on paper, we're actually not that bad of a team.
No, I agree with you. And my brain is fogging up. Let's just move forward.
Listen, let's go right into our favorite segment that has now become its own YouTube playlist, which is fun. The Frozen Forum Flash. For those who don't know, we have 10 questions. 5 on the Montreal Canadiens, 5 on the rest of the NHL. We're going to ask Nathan, we're going to give him 30 seconds for each question, approximately. He's got to get up and ready. We got some fun ones. We got some serious ones. We're going to start off on the most ridiculous place I've ever started on one of these. But so Nathan, are you ready?
Yeah. Trying to wake myself up. There we go. Okay, here we go.
Awesome. Ready? Let's go. Episode 22 of the Frozen Forum Flash starts now. Question number 1. Cole Caulfield scored his 24th of the season last night in his 43rd game. Do you think Cole Caulfield has the capacity to score 26 in the next 7 games to get 50 and 50?
Of course, bro. I mean, we saw the hot streak at the beginning of the season, and hey, we have been getting through a pretty good chunk of these tougher teams that we were going to see in January, and that'll slowly fizzle out into it looks like a little bit of a weaker end to the schedule, so yeah, I think it's possible for Cole Caulfield.
You think it's possible? We'll love to hear it. I mean, to be honest, I have him down at some point in his career of getting 50 and 50. Obviously, it's not going to happen. He has a capacity to, maybe. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but I have him down as doing it eventually. I have question number 2. The Athletics' Corey Pronman, you might remember him because there's been lots of controversy about what he said, is back with his bad takes to elicit lots of controversy amongst Habs fans. He ranked Lane Hutson as the 39th best player under 23 years old. That's behind players like Luke Hughes and Owen Power. Do you think 39th overall is fair?
Under 23? You know what? I will say it is fair. It's his first year in the league, and he isn't as tenured as some of the other guys who might have been in the league for like a good 2.5 years at this point. It's his first season. He is performing incredibly well. I think you give him another season, he'll be in that top 10, top 5. No problem. Absolutely no problem. But for now, I can see his argument for whatever, top 40.
Gonna be controversial. I will say, though, to add on to that, Lane Hutson right now is currently 6th in the league in defenseman scoring.
All defensemen.
All defensemen. Anyways, let's go back to the questions. Question number 3 for you. Braden Point was scratched for last night's game because he missed a team meeting. When is the superior team-focused locker room in Montreal going to be ahead of the Lightning in the standings, considering we are only 3 points behind them?
Well, Braden Point, if there's no point in showing up to practice, guess you're not going to go to the game anyway, so that's on you, buddy. But, dude, it's going to happen within this next week. I mean, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about, according to my calculations, within the next 10 weeks, we're going to be in a playoff spot. And here we are, damn near in a playoff spot already. Actually, are we in a playoff spot after the win? I don't know. Okay, we're not. I don't know. You say you bring it up like it's going to be 3 weeks to a month. It could be this next week. 100%.
I like it. I hope it is. And I mean, look, other teams have problems in the dressing room. The one thing going for the Habs this season has been we have an outstanding vibe in the team, led by Cole Caulfield, the guy who can't not smile. So, next question. Talking about a few weeks back, we were talking about being, 7 points back of the playoffs. We are now 10 points out from being first in the division with 2 games less played than each of those two teams. Is there a world in which we are up there at the end of the season?
Oh baby, who's ahead of us right now? It's Toronto and Tampa.
Toronto, Tampa, Florida, Ottawa is technically ahead of us.
Indian. Okay, you said 2 teams, but yeah, I guess so. You know what? Senators are frauds. The Lightning are frauds. The Leafs are frauds. The real competitor there is the Panthers. I would give us an 80% chance of being top 2. 80% chance of being top 2 in the division. And I'd say like a 40% chance of being first. But for 80% top 2, this is our year, baby. We're making the playoffs.
I looked at it and I was it's outstanding. And we're 10 points back, but it's 2 games in hand. So if we win those 2 games, and one of our next 2 games is against Toronto, who's tied for first. I mean, we could realistically be like 4 points back, which is like 2 games. That's nothing. Anyways, I wanted to bring that up. We got one last question with the Habs. We, as a team, currently have 1 point per game player, Nick Suzuki, who has exactly 43 points in 43 games. Cole is 1 point off. Lane is 8 points off. How many point per game players will the Habs have at the end of the season?
We will have 2. It's going to be Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. I think Lane Hutson has been obviously on a crazy streak recently. He has like, what was it? Like 9 points in the last... No, that's too much. It was 7 points in the last 3 games. Is he going to continue that the rest of the season? I don't. I hope so. I certainly hope so. But in reality, I think he'll be just shy. Very, very close, but just shy. We'll have 2.
Remember when you said 60 points was a ridiculous take from me? Man.
Yeah, we could. You know what? When the season's done, we should bring up all the comments. We'll make one of those good reels. Just showing.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All the haters. Show all the haters where it's at. Let's go into the rest of the NHL. Question number 6 for you. There was a report on January 10th that the Boston Bruins locker room was a mess, with Pastrnak at the center of the conflict. Since then, in 2 games played, Pastrnak has 6 points, including 3 goals. Do you think he took that report personally?
Yeah, maybe he was the one trying to spark something up in the room to just get the Bruins buzzing again. I mean, they don't look like the bad Bruins they used to look like, and he's been there for a long ass time. He knows what they need to do, and maybe it's because Marchand might not be the best captain, and maybe they should have picked Pastrnak. But that's another discussion. Yeah, that article provoked him.
I like it. I totally agree. We'll go into question number 7. Tristan Jarry is on waivers today. Evgeny Malkin's home was burglarized last night. The Pens have played 3 more games than us and sit 2 points behind us. Is this karma for giving Kyle Dubas a second chance?
It's karma. It's karma for giving Kyle Dubas a second chance, and it's karma for signing too many guys, too much money. Like Erik Karlsson was not worth what was he? Was he getting paid like 9 or 10 million a year? He's not worth that. Tristan Jarry, man, that guy's downfall. It's brutal. How you want me to answer this question? The Malkin house burglary though, that's actually so sad. He lost all of his Stanley Cup rings. I hope none of his family was there because especially in the States.
No, nobody was injured. Definitely a crazy thing to happen though. Like,
I wonder what they're going to do if they just replace them, or if they're going to call the Russian mafia in and try and find him back, try and get him back.
That should have been the question. That's a good line of question. Okay, we'll go to the next question though. I like the answer. After winning the President's Trophy last year, the Vancouver Canucks currently sit outside of the playoff picture. How much longer before we see a blockbuster trade to fix that locker?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be soon. I mean, you can't be letting, mind you, it is Kyle Connor, but Kyle Connor getting a hat trick on you in 6 minutes in the first period. No player should be doing that to you, especially when you're Vancouver Canucks you have 2 elite goalies. I don't know. Is Demko playing at all, or is he still hurt?
I think he's still hurt.
Okay, well, Kiefer Sherwood's the player. Who's Lankinen. Lankinen is a solid goaltender, but I mean, your team is just falling apart, so something's got to change. One of them is going to be traded. I mentioned Kiefer Sherwood because I don't know if I saw the stat on Instagram. He is on pace to have 370 hits in this season, which would break the record by over 100, which is ridiculous.
I think it was 470, but yeah.
407?
Yeah. Because the record right now is like 362. And yeah, he's on pace for 4 something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so soon. I like the answer. We'll go into question 9. We haven't been talking about this team at all this season. But the New York Islanders sit second last in the East, 7th last in the league. Are they the next team to pull the plug and drop into a full rebuild?
To be honest, they have not even crossed my mind once this season. They might have to because they have so much talent there, right? Like they have Matt Barzal, right?
I think so. I think they still have him.
They have Barzal, they have Nelson, they have...
This guy from Vancouver? The guy who got traded there from Vancouver? Bo Horvat? They got him?
Yeah, they got Bo Horvat. They got a bunch of stars there too, and they're just not... So they have a lot of trade value. I think it would be smart for them to start rebuilding. I don't know. They haven't really had a competitive playoff team, and... Actually, no, they had a playoff team when we were competitive too, in the COVID year. But yeah, I think it could be time for them as well.
Yeah, maybe you go down and get Gavin McKenna next year too.
Yeah, that's true.
I like it. Okay, so and then question number 10. Sum it all up. It's a very controversial question, potentially. But the Four Nations face-off is coming up in February. What matters more, the Olympics or that competition? And how much more does it matter?
The Olympics is by far the most important competition. It's the most historical games on the face of the earth, right? Like, I mean, all of the legends, the greats, Muhammad Ali, Usain Bolt, you name it, they all competed there. And it was built for the best of the best. Whether you like it or not, the Four Nations face-off is for business. The Olympics are where the truest of sports happen. It's the Olympics. The Olympics are most important.
And so then how much more? Like what's the comparison? If you
There
win
is no
like...
comparison.
If
you win the Four
like,
Nations face-off, it's cool. It's cool because you are against the best, but it's for business purposes, whereas the Olympics is more of like an honorary thing because you're competing for the love of the sport. You're not getting paid to go to the Olympics. You're getting paid if you win. But the Four Nations face-off, I don't know.
I actually don't know if it's a paid thing. But no, I was wondering if there's like a... If you win 4 Four Nation face-offs, is that equivalent to 1 Olympic gold medal? Like, is there an equivalency there?
Does it happen every year?
I don't think so. We actually don't know what's going to happen with this thing. I think it's going to be like a one-off, but...
Yeah.
Just trying to put it in perspective.
I think it's just a promotion by pretty much the NHL to try and grow the league a little more. Ideally in, like, Finland and Sweden. Because the league's growing tremendously.
Yeah. No, I like it. Well, that wraps up our Frozen Forum podcast. Thank you. Or sorry, our Forum Frozen Flash. It could also wrap up the podcast. Nathan's tired, but maybe I'm tired too. Although I have no excuse for it. That wraps up our Frozen Forum Flash.
What else do we want to talk about for this week? What about the goalies?
Okay. Matti Dobes wins his 3rd. I can't believe that didn't come up either so far. He wins his 3rd. He's 3-0 in his first 3 starts with the Habs. He gave up, 2 goals?
Yeah, 2 goals against the Capitals.
So he's got a 1.00 goals against average. It's crazy, right? The goal, Montembeault's been good. He played really well against Dallas. None of the goals last night were his fault. I've been saying this for a year and a half now, but Samuel Montembeault will be the starter for Team Canada, both in the Olympics and in this Four Nations thing. He's a really good goaltender. He just has not had the defensive support at all. And when he does have the defensive support, like he did when he went to the World Championships last year, he won gold as the starter for Team Canada. Mark it down. This guy's brilliant. Jakob Dobes. I was listening to Arpon Basu last night. He's a reporter from The Athletic. One of the things he said about Dobes is he's so big that when he goes into the side of the net, you know how they go into the side, the goalies go in the side of the net to cover that corner kind of thing. A lot of goalies have a gap in between their shoulder and the top bar. He doesn't have a gap. His shoulder is up against the crossbar, which is just like it's a cheat code. Like this sounds like an actual. Like they list him as 6'5". I think he's taller than 6'5".
He's got.
I've seen.
Yeah, you see him with the camera at him at the net. You can see like a few little flashes of light behind him, and that's it.
He's doubly like when he stands up, he's twice as tall as the net. I swear.
Yeah,
like it's great. It's crazy. I love him. I really wanted to talk to you though about Lane Hutson. Anybody. I tweeted this out. Anybody in the league who says that Lane Hutson should not win the Calder, and anybody that votes for Macklin Celebrini over Lane Hutson for the Calder does not know anything about hockey, because you can't. You look at this guy play, and yeah, beginning of the season, he had a lot of defensive flaws. The reason that he's a first star this week is not because he put up, 5 points in the last 3 games or whatever it is, right? Like, the reason he's the first star is because in that time period, he's +5. Why is he +5? He's +5 because he's making extraordinary defensive plays. They were breaking it down. I love, sorry, as a side note, shout out to the TSN broadcast for the Montreal Canadiens. They do a great job. I love the takes that they have. They had Craig Button on last night. But I wanted to say in the Washington game, one of the things they did is they clipped together a bunch of his plays in the defensive zone. His ability to lift sticks, to put pucks, or to put a stick in the right lane and disrupt a pass, be in the exact right place to stop somebody. I mean, look, it's great to be a physical defenseman. I think you need to have physical defensemen on the teams. This guy is a force defensively. Like mark him down for the Norris this year. Like don't even talk about the Calder. Again, we talked about it. This guy is 6th in the league in defensive scoring as a rookie, as a 20-year-old, as a player who has not ever touched NHL ice before last April.
You don't even know something even crazier? He's got 2 clones of him that are a little bit younger that will be coming to the league.
Does he have 2? Does he have 2 brothers?
I think there's 2.
I'll say this. I think going forward, it will be a new normal to have a smaller defenseman on the team. I personally think that a team can make it with 2 of them. Now, that can be very controversial, right? Because, whatever. I think you do need big bodies, especially in the playoffs. I think there will be a Stanley Cup winning team in the next 10 years. Maybe not 10, maybe 15 years. Because it takes a while for the NHL to actually adapt, right? And figure out how to do things. I think in the next 15 years, you're going to see a team win with 2 players or 2 defensemen under 5'10" for 5'11", under 6 feet, I guess. And I think you could do it because look what he brings. I mean, he is the reason they scored these 3 goals last night that he has got assists on. That play with Kirby Dach was the Kirby Dach goal is just phenomenal. We're playing 4-on-4, and you can see Lane, he's supposed to get off the ice because they're changing and whatever else, and Matheson goes off, and Lane has the puck and he goes in the neutral zone and goes, oh, okay, well, I'm supposed to go to the bench, let's pass it back. And he's like, actually there's a little gap here, and so he skates into the offensive zone and he kind of skates a little circle thing, and he goes, oh, look, there's a guy flying in the other side, and puts a pass on Kirby Dach's stick, and Dach does the rest. But it's the only reason that goal is possible is because he's able to just control the play, and all of those Utah players. You know how Lane Hutson is a great player, like a superstar kind of type player, is the way that other teams treat him now.
Because they have to respect his speed and deception.
They just look, he freezes them without doing anything because they don't know what to do. Because if you go attack him, he's going to deke around you. If you stay back too far, he's going to take advantage of the space and he's going to make a play. What do you do with that? How do you defend that?
It's impossible. You never know if he's going to play defensive, he's going to play offensive, he's going to skate circles around it, he's going to just tiptoe around you, fake a shot, go to Kirby Dach, go to whoever the hell, and get a goal. Make you embarrassed.
Listen, we have 39 games left in the season. I'm updating my number. At the beginning of the season, I said 60 points. I think there is a realistic pathway to 80.
What are we at right now? 40.
He's at 35. Oh. He's at 35 points. Him personally.
Oh, okay.
He's at 35 points. Put me down right now is saying he's going to get to 80. I don't think there is a world in which he isn't a point per game player for the rest of the season. So 39 points straight there. So if you add those two together, we're at 74, right? I mean, somewhere in the last 39 games of the season, he has to have six extra points. I think he does it. I think it's going to be hard. I think he does it. This kid is brilliant. And as I said I said this to you at the beginning of the season, and this is why like people don't understand how good he is because his own team doesn't know how to play with him yet. They're still not there. There's still plays that he makes where nobody is anywhere close to where they should be, right? As the rest of the team has started figuring out where to be, I mean, Kirby Dach figured it out last night, and he scores a goal, right? As our own team figures out how to play with him, exponential, man. It's exponential what he's going to be able to do. Like, next 5 years, he's winning a Norris. That's it. Like, maybe not actually this season, but next 5 years, put it down.
I agree.
Give him Ivan Demidov, bro. Like, the two of them will combine for 80 points in the season. Like, just the two of them.
Look, like, Habs are making the playoffs next season, like, without a doubt in my mind. When Ivan Demidov's down, God, it's going to be so gross.
Oh, gross. As a side note, another prospect we should talk about. Have you been looking at the stats of Michael Hague? Leads the NCAA in scoring.
Beautiful.
He's a 19-year-old.
So he could come up next season too?
He can come up next season too.
Love it. Love it. Let's fucking go, baby.
Great vibes. Have
Great
you been
vibes,
paying
bro.
attention to anything else around the NHL?
No, I have been paying attention to the clock because I'm falling asleep.
10, what is it? Oh my gosh, is it actually only 8:35 over there?
Yeah, I think Nick's already asleep and I will be asleep right after this episode.
We should probably cut it there then.
Yeah, I'm good.
Do you want to take us out?
Yes. Thank you to everyone who has made it to this point in the episode. We really appreciate you. Whether you're watching us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube, make sure that you subscribe or follow us there and make sure you hit that thumbs up notification or give us a rating. It really helps grow our channel, and we know that some of you have been doing it on YouTube because we have been growing pretty well on YouTube actually these past few weeks. There are now 54 of you. We're going to remind you that at 100 subscribers, we have a special little something planned for you. So make sure you stay tuned for that and subscribe so that you can be part of that as well. Make sure that you also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and make sure you watch our YouTube shorts. We post there every day. And thank you. Thank you, everyone. Habs Nation, it is very exciting right now. We got another big week up ahead of us. I don't know who we are playing. Let me check that. Actually,
got Dallas tomorrow. We got Toronto on Saturday, and I want to say I have a team in mind, but I don't know if it actually is. It is the New York Rangers on Sunday,
and we play the Lightning.
And we play the Lightning.
So we have Tuesday. 4 games to come at you guys next week. Okay.
If we win, just as a side note, I think if we win 3 out of the 4, which is obviously a possibility, we'll be in a playoff spot.
Yeah, I think like that's a guarantee, right? Like pretty much if we win 3, we're in a playoff spot.
Pretty much a guarantee. I think just beating Tampa will put us like above Tampa at that point.
Oh baby. Oh baby. Let's go. Thank you everyone for watching. 4 games to talk about next week. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace out. This is episode 22. Au revoir et bonsoir.